Hi folks, Meteorologist Ryan Hoke here with Sunday's edition of the Hokey video blog. Hope you're starting off the end of your weekend on the right foot. Unfortunately, some of us may not be ending it on the right foot as we get some wintry precipitation issues possibly in portions of southern Indiana. Let's detail that forecast right now for you with some of the winter alerts that we're seeing, and we do have a winter weather advisory across all of southern Indiana. Includes Trimble County here in Kentucky as well. That runs throughout 4 o'clock this evening, or I should say this afternoon, into 10 a.m. tomorrow morning on your Monday. Now, to the west of the area that you may be able to see just barely highlighted there in that white, basically west of Washington County, it starts at 1 p.m. since the precipitation onset will be a little bit earlier, but nonetheless the same idea. This would be due to freezing rain, the potential to freezing rain accumulations. Now, we take you up to Carroll County. You folks are under a freezing rain advisory. You may be asking, why are we under a freezing rain advisory? Well, the rest of us are under a winter weather advisory. Well, you folks in Carroll County are managed by a different weather service office. It's out of Wilmington, Ohio, and they've elected to go with a freezing rain advisory, but really, it's going to be the same impact as the winter weather advisory that we're seeing in southern Indiana. So the impact is the same. The advisory technicality is just a little bit different there. Ice storm warnings up toward Indy where they could see up to a quarter inch, maybe a little bit more of ice falling across those areas. Doppler radar mostly clear across the area, but the clouds, they're moving in advance of this system. That's allowed temperatures to warm up to 28 here in the city of Metro Louisville. We got down to 20 earlier this morning. A couple little spots on radar tried to develop in western Kentucky, trying to move into the metro at this time, but we've got too much dry air aloft for this to really survive. It's going to take the saturation of the main part of this system down here to really get us any precipitation that's going to reach toward the ground. Icing already happening in portions of Arkansas. Got a report from our sister station KAIT in Jonesboro of roads becoming a problem in their viewing area. Got another report out of northwest Arkansas, portions of I-40 being closed, trying to get into Oklahoma and through Arkansas, the western portion of it as well, due to freezing rain accumulations. Liquid rain down here in Mississippi and West Tennessee at this time, and really I think that the freezing line between freezing rain and plain rain, where you see it now, is just kind of trace on up the Ohio River, parts of the Mississippi as well, but it may not be that easy. We'll explain here in just a second. 20s in southern Indiana, 29 in Salem, 30 now in Jasper, though, up to freezing in Hardensburg and Litchfield. You'll see that 34-degree reading out toward Madisonville, indicative of some warmer air flowing in. I do think we'll get above freezing in most places this afternoon, but we may drop a couple of degrees, and that'll be crucial as we go throughout the evening. 24-hour temperature change. We're 19 degrees warmer now than we were at this time yesterday. Remember, we started off in the single digits in the teens. Ouch. At least we don't have that this morning, so it's a little more comfortable to step outside. We're well above freezing by 12 noon. The rain will be moving in, though, little sprinkles at times before we get really the main system in here as we go throughout, I would say, 5, 6, 7 o'clock this evening. So the front-running patchy drizzle, maybe a few bouts of sleet would occur after 2 p.m. today. And then you'll notice how we go up to 37. My high temperature for today is 38, so I think we'll even get up above that. But then we drop to around 34 by early evening, and that's because of an effect called wet bulbing. We'll drop a few degrees thanks to the atmosphere beginning to saturate. That temperature responds, and we get down to just above freezing here in the Louisville Metro. Southern Indiana, some folks may not be as lucky, and you may stay at or below. We'll detail that here with Futurecast, which runs off a computer model, and I will say some of the computer models, if not most of them, probably not handling this cold air that's stuck in southern Indiana quite as well. So we'll have to take this with a grain of salt, but I do think it's latching onto an idea that's feasible somewhat. 32 degrees as we go throughout 4 o'clock in Jasper, Seymour, Bedford. You'll notice precipitation moving in at this time. This would be freezing rain if we were to be at 32 at this time, which is very possible. We stay at 32 throughout 6:30 this evening up toward, well, Bedford and Seymour, so our very northern tier of counties. The rest of you folks up there still staying around 33, but really, that's going to be on the rocks because I think some of the colder air may stay a little more entrenched than what we're thinking here. 10 o'clock, it shows us all above freezing. Let's hope that's the case, but I still think there's a risk for some freezing rain in places that may stay below or at freezing as we go throughout the overnight. The general trend will be to warm us up, or at least try to, through the overnight, but how far north that warming makes it we're kind of suspect of that. You'll notice how Seymour kind of flipped between freezing and just above it there as we went throughout the overnight hours. That'll be the trend up there. So I really do think Lawrence, Jackson, and Jennings will be at the highest risk of ice accumulations. The rest of you folks in southern Indiana, you're under the alert. You're under the need to watch temperatures tonight because it very well may produce some icing in spots, especially as we go throughout the afternoon with that initial batch across our northwestern counties there, basically from Jasper to Bedford, even into Orange County, Paoli. But by 8:30 tomorrow morning, while we could have some morning commute issues in spots that stayed below freezing up in our northern tier of counties, we will be working on warming up even more, and I think all of us will be above freezing as we head throughout the mid-morning. The rain, it moves in even more, but this should be liquid rain for most of us before cold air crashes in on the back side of it. Obviously, cold front moves through. That would be a wave moving through with the rain, the cold front with the snow showers that we may see on the back side of this as we go throughout your Monday night. Maybe even a few bouts of sleet, maybe an instance of freezing rain or two, but the impact would likely not be as high as what we'll see tonight into early Monday. So Monday evening, maybe a little wintry weather here and there, but not a big deal. Of course, we'll be keeping track of that. Spent a lot of time on this map because I want to make sure we had as clear of an explanation as possible as to what we'll see. This yellow area here is probably catching your attention. This is a mixed rain scenario. We may see some sleet in this area as we go throughout this afternoon, but it'd be a very brief window of it. So I want to account for that and show that we are going to go to rain, though, as we go throughout the evening across Metro Louisville, areas just along the river here. So I don't think we're going to have any big issues in Metro Louisville. Monday morning commute looks okay for now, so that's some good news there. Basically, if you're north of the city, though, you'll need to watch for the potential for rain that could freeze to the surface, as in freezing rain, and that could be a problem in spots. I don't think all of you folks here in the pink will see freezing rain accumulations, but I do think the potential is highest up there for up to 1/10 of an inch of ice accumulations, especially across our very northern tier of counties up there, Lawrence, Jackson, and Jennings. If you're heading up to Indianapolis, could be some big problems up there tonight into early tomorrow. They could get in excess of 1/4 inch of ice. That's ice storm criteria up toward the I-70 corridor, so trip up I-65 probably tonight might not be a good idea because it'll start after 5 o'clock up there in the Indy metro area. Here's what the RPM is dumping out for ice accumulations as we go throughout portions of your day. It's not really registering anything on the tenths of an inch scale here. That's what we've got this calibrated to with the plot that you're seeing there. But it is painting a little bit of ice accumulation, basically from Jasper up toward Paoli, even just west of Seymour and Jackson County as we go throughout tonight. This will be that first wave that moves through before the model does warm us up. So I think this will be the best area, at least initially, to see some freezing rain, and then we'll turn our attention toward our very northern counties as we head toward the overnight hours. Here's a little rundown of my thoughts as we go throughout this afternoon, 2 to 6 p.m. Patchy wintry mix moves in. It increases toward evening. I think it'll be all rain toward E-Town, and really all rain for us here in Metro Louisville and the rest of Kentucky, except for Trimble and Carroll counties, where you guys do have a risk of some freezing rain here and there that we will be watching. Slick roads may develop in those areas and up towards southern Indiana where we get freezing rain. Again, this is key. Where we get the freezing rain is going to dictate where indeed we do see the slick roads developing. Power issues, I know I've gotten some questions about that on Facebook. Probably not going to be an issue. You need about 1/4 of an inch of ice or more and the winds to determine if you're going to get those power line issues or not. And really, I just don't think we're going to be seeing that. But by the time we get through, I'd say this starts at 7 a.m., but this process may take a little bit of time in areas that may very well still be seeing freezing rain tomorrow morning. It'll become all rain because we'll be warming those temperatures up, but as the precipitation moves out, we may see a very light wintry mix. That would be some sleet, some snow, maybe even about a freezing rain. Travel issues would be most exacerbated as we go throughout this evening, the overnight, and into tomorrow morning with freezing rain in southern Indiana. Metro Louisville, I think we'll be okay from this. I think we're going to escape this one relatively unscathed, but I've given it a yellow light Monday afternoon into Monday evening, because while we will be improving in terms of freezing rain not really falling across the area, we do have that little bit of a wintry mix, maybe some snow, some sleet, maybe even just a little freezing drizzle moving through the area as we go throughout the overnight. No big impacts there. Otherwise, I give it definitely a red light. Let's give you a brief look at the 7-day breakdown. As we go throughout your Tuesday, the cold air behind the system really filtering in, 31 for a high, 19 by Wednesday morning. But we do moderate somewhat through the rest of the work week. Mid-30s Wednesday, Thursday, upper 30s by Friday. We may hit 40 here in the city. Definite 40s by the weekend. We could get close to that 50-degree mark next weekend after the single digits, the below-zero wind chills, and now the ice issues that we may be dealing with. 50 degrees sounds like an absolute vacation. Wouldn't that be nice? I know snow lovers need the snow. They're looking for it. It's just not in the forecast yet. The pattern is still ripe for some sort of storm to potentially occur here over the next few weeks, but we're just not seeing it at this point. We'll keep you updated. Of course, I'll be updating you tonight on Wave 3 News at 6 and 11. The blog will be updated. We'll be posting some hourly video updates here, of course, as we go throughout the evening as well. I'm Meteorologist Ryan Hoke. Have a great Sunday.